What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Cam Jack Plays MLB The Show 16 Road to the Show series. We're in Tampa Bay with some interleague play here, some AL East interleague play. And I really don't want to talk about baseball right now, but I'm going to have to go on a rant in this video. So I'm not sure how long this rant is going to be, but I'm going to rant about my Baltimore Orioles and how they just blew their chances at postseason baseball. Okay? So, last night was the game against the Toronto Blue Jays in Toronto for the 2016 American League Wild Card. Alright? And actually, I'm going to sum it up in just a couple quick, I don't know, a couple quick points I'm going to make here. And it's all about pitching. The Orioles have not had a real ace in I don't even know how many years. And then they finally spent money on a pitcher, and it was fucking Ubaldo Jimenez. Okay? That's the first point where we went wrong. We thought Ubaldo was going to be our ace. But no, we got Chris Tillman as our ace, who on any other team with an actual ace would be their number 3 or 4 pitcher. But for the Baltimore Orioles, he's our ace, which, okay, whatever. He pitched pretty well this season, but still not an ace. He's not dominant by any means. You don't know you're going to get 5, 6, I don't even know the last time he went 7 innings in a game. You're not going to get that out of any of our pitchers. You're just not. So, bottom of the 5th inning. Woo! Get out. Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. So, bottom of the 5th inning is when the Orioles started to implode. And they didn't start to implode. That's when they blew the lead. Okay? So, Chris Tillman allows a couple runners on base, and then they have runners in scoring position. Okay? He's not pitching that well. He's falling apart. You take him out right there. This is your one playoff game of the year. And you have the best bullpen, not the best, one of the best bullpens in baseball. Why don't you pull him out and put it in your bullpen's hands? But you let him stay in, and the next batter hits a game-tying base hit. So instead of putting it in your bullpen that barely gives up any runs, you keep it in the hands of your starting pitcher who is starting to fall apart in a must-win playoff game, or your season is over. That's the first thing I have a problem with. You take Chris Tillman out before he gives up that run. And if the bullpen gives it up, then they give it up. It's still a tie game. You know, obviously you don't know what's going to happen if you keep him in or take him out. But you put him in the bullpen. You put it in the bullpen's hands. That's just what you do in my eyes. You put it in the bullpen's hands. So he waits till after Tillman gives up the game-tying base hit in the bottom of the 5th, so there's still game left, but then he takes him out after he already gives up the lead. Okay. Bullpen does well. Bullpen does well. Oh, my God. I'm not paying attention. Bullpen does pretty well. Bottom of the 11th inning. Oh, my God. I got to pay attention here, people. Hold on. All right, let's see. Who we got pitching? Wood? Who is Wood? Yeah, get out, ball. All right, so what was I saying? Bottom of the 11th inning, okay? The bullpen is holding this game down. They've gotten a couple jams, but they've got out of them, okay? That's not what I'm talking about. What my issue is you put Ubaldo Jimenez in the game while you've got the best closer in baseball in Zach Britton on the bench. If you haven't used him already, now's the time. It's the bottom of the 11th inning. Okay? Ubaldo already gave up a couple base hits. Runner was on third base. You had first and third, okay? You had first and third, 1 out. Winning run on third base. And you keep Jimenez in there? That's crazy to me. He shouldn't have been in the game in the first place. He shouldn't have even been in there. But he was. Okay. You put in Zach Britton after he gives up those hits. Ubaldo shouldn't have even been in there. But you put him in anyway. So that's already said and done. He's in the game. You do not keep him in there after he puts those runners on base. You take him out before it gets worse. You can't keep him in there. How can you have faith in a pitcher that is so consistently inconsistent that you've literally taken him in and out of the rotation for the 3 years that he's been here? I don't know how many times he's went from the bullpen back to the starting rotation and back and forth. I don't know how many times. It's ridiculous. But then you put the season and your playoff hopes in the hands of the worst pitcher that you have. The very worst. When you have the best closer in baseball on the bench. A guy who didn't blow one save all season. He was perfect all year. A ground ball pitcher who didn't blow a save all year. But yet you leave Ubaldo Jimenez in, who throws nothing but meatballs right down the middle, gives up a couple base hits, and then serves a first pitch cock shot to Edwin Encarnacion. Like, what did you think was gonna happen? You can't have faith in a guy like that. The Orioles are never, and I'm from Baltimore, guys. I am a huge. Is that gone? Wow. You are never going to make it past the first round of the playoffs. You might win a wild card game if we get lucky, but we will never go any farther in the postseason without great pitching. The bullpen isn't the issue. The starting pitching, we depend on bullshit is what we depend on. Pitchers like Ubaldo Jimenez who can't stay consistently in the rotation. And then we have to, nice shot, we have to depend on pitchers from the AAA teams that, like, you can't depend on the Norfolk Tides rotation. You just can't. You can't keep calling up people like Mike Wright, even though he pitches well sometimes. You can't. What's up, Joe Panic? There he is, Jonathan. Another Joe Panic appearance. But back to my rant. You cannot keep depending on half-assed, mediocre pitchers to get you far into the postseason. You're not going to do it. The only reason the Orioles got to the wild card was because we hit home runs in clutch situations. That is it. The Orioles have never, to me, been a great team. They're good, but they have mediocre at best pitching. You might get every couple starts. Chris Tillman will have a good game. Kevin Gausman is finally coming around. Dylan Bundy, if he's healthy. You know, it's hit and miss with him. He's starting to put it together. But you can't depend on that right now. It's a base hit. You know, the Orioles depend on all these young arms, which they limit, by the way. Look at what happened to Jake Arrieta. The Orioles traded him to the Cubs. Or we released him and the Cubs picked him up. Whatever it was. The Cubs let him throw his cutter and then he won a fucking Cy Young. The Orioles would not let him throw a cutter. Don't understand why. It's his best pitch. But you don't let him throw it. So there's something going on in the Orioles organization that a pitching coach, something developmental in the minor leagues that they're not getting the fullest potential out of their pitchers that we are supposed to be developing in AAA. But woo, it's foul ball. Yeah, they're never gonna get far into the playoffs unless you spend some goddamn money on an ace. If you can't develop an ace, you need to pay for one. Look at the Red Sox. They paid for David Price. Look what they got. They got David Price. You pay it. Look where you go. They won the division with ease. The Orioles blew it. They were in first place for a long time, and then they fucked it up. You can't keep depending on half-ass pitching and then, you know, hope your pitching gets you 5 innings into the game and then you put it in the bullpen's hands for the last 4. You can't do that. David Price, 6, 7, 8 innings. CC Sabathia when he was in his prime. Pitchers like that are going to take you far, and that every time they take the mound, Madison Bumgarner, Clayton Kershaw, Max Scherzer, you know you're getting a solid game out of every one of those guys. Now, every now and then, I get it, you don't always have the best game. But those guys are always going to give you 6, 7 innings. You can't keep having these pitchers give you half-assed pitching performances with, you know, the hopes of going to the World Series. It's never going to happen. You need starting pitching, and you can't put the shit starting pitchers that you take out of the rotation in a must-win situation in a one-game playoff series. You can't do that. You can't do it. So you have the worst pitcher in a shitty situation and your best pitcher on the bench. Explain to me how that happens. I'll catch you guys in the next episode.